Hello everyone, it's Christine here and I'm back for our stitch along, and we are going to be doing satin stitch. And over the next few episodes we're going to be using this satin stitch to do a few different pieces. So what I've done is I've written out just ATIN in just regular crochet cotton and just in a back stitch. And then I've started doing a split stitch outline of the S, so I've done that bigger. And so with split stitch, all you're doing is you're doing a regular forward stitch to start off. If you're starting off, obviously I'm continuing on. So that would be like if you'd just come through the fabric doing your first stitch, and then you're popping your needle up halfway along that first stitch. So you're actually splitting the stitch with the next stitch. And then you just keep going forward doing that. And it's great for creating a even raised border that you can then use to do your satin stitch on. So I'll just show you a few stitches of that, and then we'll get into the actual satin stitching itself. So satin stitch is also known as a damask stitch. And it's a stitch that's great to work with a lustrous sort of thread. I'm just using a crochet cotton here, but it's got a nice sheen to it. It would be great with the Wonderful razzle threads as well. So I'm filming this on Saturday evening after a busy day doing lots of work in the garden. Lots of cleaning up in the garden, and then some house chores as well. Let's come up and join this. I'm not too worried that my S isn't sort of like it's a regularly shaped S. That's not a worry for me at all. Come up and join this stitch up here, I think. There we go. So what we're then going to do is we're going to pop up, say, let's start here, and we're just going to be doing long stitches. Well, not long, you don't want to make them over too long of a surface, but just doing stitches across from just coming out just on one side of the split stitch and then coming back into the fabric and angling down on the other side of the split stitch. So sometimes I actually will pop up next to where I've done my last one, but the book says we are actually always meant to be coming from top down to bottom or bottom to top, so that you keep that same sort of movement. It does mean you waste a bit of thread on the back, but we'll follow the book's instructions. If you have a particularly precious thread, you might want to use the other technique where you'd pop up just next to where you've gone down for the last stitch, so you conserve your thread for the front of your piece. So when you're going around a curve, what you want to do is just have your stitches on the longer side of the curve, a bit more spaced out and a bit tighter on the other side. So this is the longer side where I'm coming out, so I'll just space my stitch a smidge more, but then I'll come in quite tight on the shorter side of the curve. Like my thread's trying to knot itself. Let's just fix this up. There we go. Still getting a little knot. What's happening here? Fix that. So again, just spacing it a smidge more on the top, but then letting it be a bit tighter on the narrower bit of the curve, or the tighter bit of the curve. So yeah, tighter on the tighter bit of the curve is probably the way to think of it, and a bit more spaced out on the longer bit of the curve. I just put one more stitch back in over here just to neaten it up. I just see that I made it slightly unneat, so I can easily fix that just laying one more more thread in. Yeah, that's much better, I think. Maybe one more here. And get rid of the fluff. Much better. So yeah, if you do happen to see something looks a bit uneven, you can probably lay another thread in. So again, just wanting to space out a little bit more on the top of the curve and keep it nice and tight on the inside of the curve. So hope you're having a great day. Hope you're getting to stitch rather than do garden or household chores. Although I do enjoy the garden, that's true. And household chores, I do enjoy when things get nicely sorted and everything's sort of in its place is always good, I suppose. I just would rather be stitching, I reckon. Whereas the garden is nice to be out in the fresh air and sunshine, although I must admit I was battling hay fever today with grass seeds and all sorts of things and dust. So it wasn't quite as enjoyable as it could be. But tomorrow we're thinking we'll take a picnic and go down to the lovely Inverloch by the sea. So I think it's going to be about 26 or 27 and sunny, so that will be nice. I'll have to get prepared and do a few of my stitch-along titles for the different upcoming stitch names, because I usually pre-prepare those before the video, apart from in like a case like this where I'm actually stitching part of the title whilst demonstrating the stitch. So you'll be amazed how much thread you can actually use, because it's particularly when you are on the back, you're getting the same raised pattern, so you're using a decent amount of thread. So you probably don't want to draw your piece too big, and you probably don't want to use your most precious thread. That's why I like these big balls of the crochet cotton or knitting cotton. They're quite affordable, but they have some very nice colours in them, and I like the variegated as well. Although I'm using the darker sort of section of it at the moment. So we're on a sort of straightish section, so yeah, we can just sort of have them spaced about the same size, at the same size on both sides. Also gave Alex a haircut today. He's got beautiful curly hair, so and I was lucky enough once I took him along to the lovely lady that I have had my hair cut by in Paris, who used to be a sculptress, most lovely lady, sweetest lady, and so I was able to see how she cut Alex's hair, and so I just follow her technique now. Sure it's not as good as she does, but yeah, everyone always comments what a great haircut it is, and I think the curly hair, I actually find it really easy to get a good cut. So Alex is happy, he doesn't have to go to the hairdresser, doesn't have to shell out the money, and and I'm happy to do it. I actually enjoy it. First time I did it I was a bit worried, but he actually previous to that had a really bad haircut that everyone, all of us who saw him after he came out, we were like, what on earth happened? And it turned out he actually got his hair cut by someone who was the first day on the job. I don't even know how they were let loose with someone's hair to cut. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but Alex only discovered this afterwards when the guy told him, oh yeah, you're my first haircut. Normally I thought the apprentices just have to kind of sweep up hair and do the hair washing and watch and observe, but not sure what happened there. Maybe it's different in barbers, I'm not sure. Anyway, he ended up with like a mullet, which might be okay if you went to the hairdresser to get a mullet, but he definitely wasn't going to the hairdresser to get a mullet. Is that? I wonder if you even call them mullets in other parts of the world, but it was not a good look. Look up Australian mullet if you, although that might bring up a fish, I'm not sure, but it was not a good look. Now I need to space them a bit more on the wider bit of the curve here because we're going around the curve. So just space the stitches out a smidge. Spacing out a little bit more on the longer side, and then it's quite a relaxing stitch. I think I was almost being lulled into my own little quiet land. I'm actually a little bit weary today because I had a really bad sleep last night. I thought being Friday night after a long busy week, but I don't know. Sometimes I shouldn't read articles or things before bed because I had crazy dreams and thought I heard sounds in the house and wasn't, of course. And then I was really hot. Then I got cold. Oh well, I'm sure there's many of us that have those nights when it just doesn't. You think you're going to have a really good sleep, but you just don't end up. So we are getting a bit of the lighter pink coming through now in the colours of the variegation. So yeah, it really is worth doing that outline stitch because it just gives you a nice surface to stitch around and just helps to give that raised effect from the satin stitch. One more stitch, I think, just to cover the last of the ready outline stitch. I think that'll be fine. So there we go. That is a satin stitch. So I kind of like that it comes around and graduates to that lighter colour. So we will be coming back tomorrow and doing some more practice with satin stitch, and we'll be doing a bow, which again I will outline with the split stitch, and then we'll proceed to do satin stitch for that. So I'll see you then. And then there's going to be some more satin stitch variations as well. We are going to have a padded satin stitch, a padded berry, and and then that's it for the satin stitches. So bow, padded, and padded berries. So I'll see you back tomorrow for the bow. Thanks everyone. Bye.